Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today I'm going to be doing a Gishki deck profile. Now this deck is actually really fun to be able to just shuffle cards off your opponent's side of the field into the deck and be able to draw cards and make a really big Yugioh at 3,200. This card is absolutely humongous, and be able to summon our trains on top of it. Like, have you ever heard of Ocean Speedway? Like, that's what this is. So this deck is really fun. It's really cheap actually as well to be able to just build this, because I think Yugiohs are like maybe $2-3 tops. So let's get straight on this, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you think of this video down in the comments down below. Hit that bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad, and let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Yugioh. Yugioh is something of legend. This card, basically, if it's ritual summon, you get to pay 1,000 life points and then draw a card, and if you do, reveal it. If it's a Gishki monster, you shuffle a card from the field into the deck, which you usually are going to target your opponent's cards. You can actually OTK your opponent by summoning off multiple of these. It's really easy to summon 3 of these in a turn and just be able to OTK your opponent. So then I play 1 copy of Mind August. I don't summon this as much as I summon Yugioh. I summon Yugioh all the time. But basically this card is like Pot of Avarice. You get to shuffle up to 5 cards from either player's graveyard and return them into the deck, but you don't get to draw. It kind of sucks that you don't get to draw, but it's just a good late game card to be able to shuffle all the cards that you've, used back in the deck. Then I play 1 copy of Gust Kraken. When this card is ritual summon, you get to look at 2 cards in your opponent's hand and shuffle 1 of them into the deck, but it gives you some knowledge to be able to look at your opponent's hand. So I only play those 5 ritual monsters. And then we play for the Gishki cards. We're going to be playing 3 copies of Gishki Beast. Gishki Beast is when this card is normal summon, you get to target a level 4 or lower Gishki monster in your grave and special summon that target into defense position. Really good card to be able to just start combos and be able to go off with so many different plays. Then I play 3 copies of Gishki Shadow. Gishki Shadow, if this card is summoned, if you ritual summon exactly 1 water monster, you can use this card as the entire tribute, which is cool. And then you can discard this card to add a Gishki ritual spell from your deck to your hand, which is really important to this deck to be able to just add those cards. Gishki Vision, I play 3 copies of. Gishki Vision is kind of like the opposite of Gishki Shadow. Gishki Vision lets you discard it to add a ritual monster. This one lets you add a ritual spell. So then they can both be used for the entire tribute of a ritual monster, which is really awesome. Then I play 3 copies of Gishki Abyss. Gishki Abyss, basically, if this card is summoned, you can add a Gishki card that has 1,000 defense or less from your deck to your hand, which is really important to this deck to be able to do that and be able to add more cards to your hand to just get so many plays off. But the cool thing is Gishki Yugioh has less defense than 1,000. It has 0. So this can search by the normal summon, which is awesome to be able to get more of your Gishkis to your hand. Then we play 1 copy of Deep Sea Diva. Deep Sea Diva is here to just special summon a Sea Serpent, which your Gishki Vision is a Sea Serpent, so we just summon that, and then you can use it for overlay materials or synchro materials or link materials or whatever you want to use it for. It's just whatever you kind of want to use it for. It's just a good water card. Then I play 2 copies of Batunaful Princess. You play 2 copies of Batunaful Princess. Basically, if this card is normal or special summoned, you can banish it and then special summon a level 4 or lower fish monster from your deck, except another copy of itself. So you usually summon Gishki Abyss off of this, and it's just like playing extra Gishki Abysses. And that's why I play it. And then for the last 3 monsters that I play for the entire deck, I play 3 copies of Ash Blossom. You need the 3 Ash Blossom in this deck to be able to just stop your opponent from doing certain things while you're trying to shuffle their cards into their deck. So that's it for the monsters, guys. I know you guys are probably going to comment down below and be like, where's the implications? But I don't feel like with the Gishki Visions and the Gishki Shadows, and I'm only playing like 5 ritual monsters in the deck, I don't feel like I need the implications as much as other ritual decks do. This deck kind of functions well on its own. If you wanted to play them, you totally could, because the Talismandra and your Kandal go to level 10. I probably would only play them. I don't think I would probably play the book or the pen in this particular build. But I could see squeezing in 2 copies of Kandal or 2 copies of Talismandra by maybe dropping out 2 copies of Batunaful Princess, and maybe something out of the Spells and Traps. That's the only thing I could really see myself doing. Maybe 2 copies of the Forbidden Lance that I'm playing later in the deck. I could see myself dropping for 2 and 2. That's just a suggestion for you guys. So Let's get into the spells, guys. We don't actually play any traps in this deck, so that's something pretty interesting. I really wish that there was a way that I could play Sekka's Light in here, because I just got done deck profiling Mermails, and Mermails plays Sekka's Light, but I know I can't because I play ritual spells. So then we play 3 copies of Called by the Grave. You need 3 copies of Called by the Grave to prevent your opponent from stopping you from doing your big combo plays. 1 copy of Monster Reborn, just to be able to bring back certain Gishki cards to get their effects multiple times. 1 copy of Moray of Greed. You shuffle 2 water monsters from your hand into the deck, and then you draw 3 cards. I could even see myself bumping this up to 2, but I just played 1 for right now. I feel like it clogs at more than 1, and I just don't feel like I need it. 3 copies of Gishki Aquamirror, which is, ironically enough, the Nekroz Aquamirror, or the Nekroz Mirror, is derivative from this if you look at the artworks of them, and you actually know the dual terminal lore, which is kind of cool. So then I play 3 copies of Surface. Surface, basically, you get to target a level 3 or lower fish, sea serpent, or aqua type monster. Funny thing, that's all we play in this deck besides the Ash Blossoms. And then you get to special summon it from the grave, so you can just get more plays off of your Abyss. You want to get Abyss on the field, get the search, send it to the grave, surface, bring it back, get more searches and more searches and more searches off of your Abyss. And you can also get plays off of your shadows or visions as well, because your Gishki Visions, if you use it for like a ritual summon, it's a level 3 or lower, because it's just level 2. You bring this back, and then you can ritual summon an additional time because it counts as the full tribute. Then we play 2 copies of Salvage. I feel like Salvage is just a good 2 of. Basically, Salvage is here because you get to target 2 monsters in your graveyard that are water that have 1500 attack or less and add them to your hand. And funny thing, Vision is, 1500 or less. Your Batunaful Princess gets banished, so it doesn't matter. Deep Sea Diva is less. These are all less. All of these are less or equal to the defense or the attack, which you can add them all to your hand, which is cool. So all your main deck Gishkis, except for the ritual monsters, can be added back to your hand off of Surface or Salvage. Then we play 2 copies of Forbidden Chalice. You could bump in some. You could probably put in more hand traps if you want to, but I like Forbidden Chalice because it use sets and it makes your opponent a little intimidated. And then 2 Lance. I play this to protect my Zelgigos from back row. That's the big thing with this, and I played it ever since I started playing with this deck, and it works wonders. I was playing, when I first built this deck, I was playing against Richard, which you guys have probably seen his deck profiles on my channel. And when I was playing against him, he kept storming Mirror Forcing and hitting my Zelgigos with back row as soon as it would hit the field, and I would flip this and attack, and it would go down to 2400, which is still pretty big, and it would be like, okay, I'm going in now. So I play the Forbidden Lance for that reason. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So the extra deck is kind of self-explanatory. You play a lot of Ring 10s. So we're going to be playing 1 copy of Juggernaut Libby, 1 copy of Super Dora, and 1 copy of Gustav Max. The reason we play the Train engine in this deck is because we can make it with 2 copies of Zelgigos. And once Zelgigos has shuffled all the cards we need into the deck, you can just overlay 2 of them and make your Juggernaut Libby and make, plays for days. And it's really funny to make a field that looks like this. That you have 2 Zelgigoses, you overlay it into a Gustav Max, and then you go Juggernaut Libby. It's like, wow, that's a lot of blue and black right there. Like, you're going to be after I attack you with this Juggernaut Libby. That was actually a pretty good one. But basically, you make Juggernaut Libby to just OTK your opponent. Gustav Max is here for the extra 2k burn, and Rail Cannon Super Dora is just here because it can't be affected by card effects if you detach material. Then Ravenous Tarantula is kind of like a little tech card. You have to pay life points for your Zelgigos, so you play this because the difference in your life points and your opponent's life points make all of your monsters gain the difference. So like, if I pay 4k for Zelgigos, or I pay myself down all the way down to like 1,000 to shuffle cards on my opponent's side of the field into the deck, and to just draw more cards and more cards and more cards, I make this with 2 Zelgigos and then attack my opponent for 7k with a big spider, which is really, really funny. And it destroys also by detaching material. You can draw face-up monsters your opponent controls that have less attack or equal to this card, so you just do that and then pop your opponent in the face for 7k. It's like, yeah, I'm hurting myself to hurt you. Then I play 1 copy of Hope Woven Dragon Spider Shark. It's kind of here just because it's a water deck and it's easy to make. Bahamut Shark and Totally Awesome. Bahamut Shark's to make Totally Awesome because it's totally awesome. One copy of Brionica. I threw it in here just to bounce more stuff off my opponent's side of the field. And Deep Sea Diva's in here, so you can make it. It's a little harder to make it in this deck because you have to have Deep Sea Diva on the field and then a level 4 on the field to make it. So it's a little tough, but it's there if you can. Borreload is just here to just kind of like do damage to your opponent and just steal your opponent's monsters. Sword is here to OTK. Unicorn to bounce monsters. I make these all the time in this deck, which is 2 Mistar Boys just to make my opponent, or just to make my Zelgigoski even bigger. I've even got it up to like 42 is the biggest I've ever gotten it to. And then I don't worry about Juggernaut Libby. I just OTK my opponent with 2 Zelgigoses. Underclock Taker makes my opponent's monster go down and mine go up. And 1 Linkuriboh because we have Batunaful Princess. So why not? But that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you enjoyed this deck profile. It's a really, really fun deck. Really cheap to build besides the extra deck. Like Juggernaut Libby, I think, is the most expensive card at like maybe $10, I think. And then the rest of the deck is like super, super cheap to build. And it's super fun, but like I said, you can put implications if you want in here, or those little Devi rituals, or whatever you want to call them in this deck, if you want to. I didn't, but you can. So that's it for the deck profile, guys. I hope you enjoyed this deck. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you think of this deck down in the comments down below. And give me suggestions on this deck. It's been a while since I played this deck. I kind of saw it in my boxes, and I was like, I'm going to pull that out. I'm going to update it, and I'm going to play with it a minute. And then I'm going to profile it. So I did. And it's really fun, and I really like this deck. So, yeah, guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Hit that bell there so you can become part of the notification squad. And I'll see you guys in the next video. See you around, guys.